This is the Seller Process Podcast, where we talk about the best systems, processes, and SOPs for your Amazon business so that you can regain control of your time, build up your team, and scale your e-com empire.
Hello, entrepreneurs. If you are looking for a solid system to help you get the most out of your Amazon PPC spend and improve organic rank, then this episode is for you. Our guest today will share with us a system proven by extensive analysis of several accounts to maximize Amazon advertising ROI. I'm joined today by Leslie Chong, a highly accomplished and dynamic e-commerce and SaaS entrepreneur who successfully built a seven-figure e-commerce brand with his partners in the toy and kids niche, which was acquired by a US-based private equity firm. Currently, he's serving as the co-founder at Scale Insights, a leading rule-based Amazon PPC automation software. Hey, Leslie, good to have you here. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me on the show here. So I'm very glad to be on the show.
Awesome. To give people some context, Leslie and I met in Chiang Mai at the cross-border summit where we were both speakers. And while I was looking at your presentation, I was thinking, man, this is really valuable stuff. So we should share it with this podcast audience. So here we are. Leslie, he's based in Singapore and he's done a great job with his company, Scale Insights, which, full disclosure, I'm also a user. So that's why I'm double invested in this episode, because I've been using Scale Insights for a while already, even before we met. And then I saw you at the presentation in the conference. I said we should do this. So we're going to talk about the presentation that you shared, and everyone will find a link to download the slides with all the details and information we're going to share. So guys, remember, you go to thesellerprocess.com, find this episode in the show notes, you will find the link. And also
you got to download the link, man.
Exactly.
Because Joe Marco arm twisted me to give out the slide decks, man.
Exactly. So you'll find all the slides with even more information that we will talk about today, because for time reasons, we cannot cover everything, but you will find lots of information in the slides. So let's dive right in. Leslie, in your case study that you guys made based on how to grow organic sales and ranking, I know that you found two factors that were undervalued by most Amazon sellers. So let's dive right in. What are those two undervalued factors?
Yes. So the two undervalued factors that I discussed when I first discussed in the cross-border summit organized by Mike McClellaney, one of it is the keyword rankability. So this is something that we found. I'm sure quite a few of us also noticed this as well, is that converting keywords tend to rank better. What do I mean by that is that keywords that are converting well, that means with good conversion rate, right? They tend to rank better. It could be one of the AI algorithm that Amazon has. No one knows what is it about the algorithm, but a lot of our observations shows that this to be the case. And we also need to understand why are certain keywords harder to rank than the other, and the vice versa also true. Why are certain keywords being easier to rank than the other here? So one of the things that we have to make use of really is brand analytics here. If you haven't checked out the SQP report, you really need to check out that. For a lot of people, I'm sure they already know about this, but I just want to talk more about this. There's tons of content on YouTube or somewhere else online that you will be able to find how to read the SQP report. So I will not go too deep into it. I basically would just come out with the key conclusion about it is that when your keyword has a conversion rate that is lower than the average market conversion rate, and you can find that from brand analytics, what's your average market conversion rate? Those keywords that are lower than the average market conversion rate here tend to be harder to get ranked, right? The vice versa is also true as well. If the conversion rate is higher than the average market conversion rate, it's so much easier to get ranked on Amazon. So this is something that definitely we have found out that is keyword rankability here. That's what a lot of people has been ignoring. So the fundamentals here. And the second factor that we have discovered is, but before I go into the second factor, right? So I'm pretty sure a lot of us who are selling on Amazon, right, have experienced something of such a situation before. For example, week one has been going well. You have been selling for the whole month. Week one, week two, week three has been going well. And week four, very sudden, it dropped. And most of the time, we need to investigate why, right? It can be due to drop in ratings. For example, maybe from 4.4 stars to 4.3 stars. It makes a lot of difference here. Maybe from 4.8 stars to 4.7 stars. It makes a lot of difference here, right? It could be low inventory levels as well. That's why there's this drop in this sales here. It could be your competitors dropping the prices. It could be also due to seasonality, that maybe this is the very first year that you're selling and you didn't know the seasonality here and it suddenly dropped and you just fell out of seasonality. And you could also experience the opposite as well, right? Week one, week two, week three, week four. And week four suddenly boom, right? And after investigating, it could be due to various situations as well, right? Ratings improve, competitors went out of stock, or seasonality kick in, right? But the thing is, like, how do we actually prepare ourselves for such a sudden shift in performance? So meaning like a great drop or a great increase here, right? We what we want to do here is really to maximize the profit during such a surge, and also to protect our profits during such a slump here. So that leads me to the second factor here, which is the look back period, right? Having the look back period here would help to for us to look out for such a situation here. So as I bring back the situation that I communicated earlier, right? So the situation, let's say if we are looking at a 30 days look back period, such a drop or such an increase in search in sales, right, would be averaged out if we are looking at a look back of a 30 days period. Like for example, if we download the search term report from Amazon, from our seller central, and we download the 30 days. And such the last week that is having this sudden change in performance, right? We would be very hard in picking it up because it's being averaged out, right? And for to deal with such a sudden shift in performance, right, we need to deal with it in a very flexible manner. So this is when we will download like a 7 days look back period report here. And that's where we will be able to detect such a rapid change in performance, right? I would advise a lot of our audience here to download the search term report as frequently as possible. I know as an entrepreneur, we have 101 things on our plate to do, right? But looking at this search term report as frequent as possible, it's very important. If you could do it daily, you could do it like once every 3 days, or you could do it like weekly. Weekly might be long, right? So you will need to download like a 30 days, right? You download 7 days. And I would also advise to download like a 90 days search term report here, so that you would be able to pick up such a situation here. Yep. And of course, things get very complicated very fast when you're dealing with a lot of keywords here. I know a lot of us are not just dealing with, for example, one product could have 14,000 keywords, or could have 20,000 keywords, right? So it could get complicated very fast if you don't have a framework to deal with all these keywords, right? That's what I'm here for. I've presented in the Cross-Border Summit a framework to actually deal with all this sudden change in performance for keywords here.
That's very interesting. Yeah. That's why I think these two factors are really important to measure and be aware of, because you will get very different data when you zoom in or zoom out into a product. Like by zoom in, like looking at closely, for example, in a short look back period, and or when you zoom out on a longer time frame, you get a different picture of the performance of the product. And that's a critical thing, because we obviously want to make data based decisions. And if we look at the wrong data, we make the wrong decisions. So that's why I like your approach, because you give a framework for different time frames and so for different needs and strategies. So let's go by looking at those different strategies. Like, where do we start from? Maybe the longest time frame or the
Sure.
closest? You go ahead. Yeah.
I'll start with the longest time frame here. Although this is something, because this is something a lot of people like overlook. For long-term performance, typically I like to look at the 90 days look back period. I like to go 3 months on it. Is because there's a lot of what I call the silent bleeder keywords. They are there in the background, not very high velocity. In fact, they are very low velocity. They have clicks, but at the same time, they don't have any sales, right? So if we are looking at like a 7 days look back period, definitely we are not able to detect them. But if we extend the look back period, say to 90 days, we are able to detect them here. Even for a month look back period, it's also sometimes hard to dig them out. So let's say if we are using a 90 days here, and we found keywords that has 0 orders, no sales at all, but with quite a number of clicks here, like for example, more than 10 clicks here, this is where we would pause the keywords here. So this can be very powerful. For example, if we are having 100 keywords here, they are in the background, right? Having clicks, but at the same time, there's no sales. If CPC for around $2 and we have 10 clicks, that would be about 10 clicks, $2, that would be $20 per click spending. And we have 100 of them, that is about $2,000. For the 90 days there, you are spending like $2,000 unaware, and then all these keywords doesn't bring you any sales. So the solution will be straight cutting them out. So this would be I will start off with the long-term performance first. And after that, I'll go into the mid-term performance. So the mid-term performance, right, I will go for a 30 days look back period. Typically, I would say before, because through skill insights, after I got more involved in skills insight and started get to look at the best practices that some people are doing, I realized it's important to look at many different look back period. But prior to this, when I was doing out my brand, before I sold my brand, I was like building my brand, I was only looking at 30 days here, right? I think most people will look at 30 days here. So 30 days is very important because it's a month worth of sales. This is where a lot of people look at. What we want to look for specifically when we are looking at 30 days is those keywords, what I call the ranking keywords. All right. So I mentioned about 2 factors that has a high impact here. One of them is the keyword rankability. So I would like to look for those keyword that has high rankability. That means it has high conversion rate. A high conversion rate, I will give it more than 20% conversion rate here. It could be a disclaimer here, right? Because for different types of keywords, the high conversion rate will have different meaning here, right? Maybe like a high price product here, the long conversion rate tend to be lower here. I'll just give a generic one, 20% conversion rate here. Anything more than that, I will give it a high rank. It's something that has high chance for ranking here. And I would also like to give it a criteria of having 3 orders here, multiple orders, because I would like to see that the keywords having some kind of stats here before I would like to make decision or what action to take on those keywords here. So I would like to target keywords that have performed consistently. So I will give it like 3 orders. Once the keyword has 3 orders, more than 20% conversion rate. So what I would do next is that I would give it a aggressive target ACoS here. So I'll give it a 40% target ACoS. Say for example, if your break-even ACoS is about 20%, I'll give it a very aggressive bid here, 40% target ACoS so that it will bid more aggressively. We have a formula here for using target ACoS. Let's say, for example, if we are using a 40% target ACoS here, to calculate the bid for it, I would have the keyword revenue over clicks multiplied by the target ACoS, and that would give me the bid that I'm going to bid at. So for a higher target ACoS here, it will give you a higher new bid here. So this is for keywords that are rankable. So next, I will talk about keywords that are non-rankable, right? So those keywords doesn't help you to rank at all. So when I look at the 30 days look back period, I would also look at to scan for keywords that you will not be able to rank for, right? But those keywords are still useful as well. Why are they useful? Because we have done a lot of experiment here as well. So those keywords that are not rankable, you could give a very low bid to it, right? Bid very low for it, for could be like under $1 or something. So you could actually get some traffic out of this non-rankable keywords, although they couldn't help you to rank for certain to give you organic sales, but they are still profitable. What's your aim is that the aim from this, it should be profit. You should aim to generate profit out from this PPC here, advertising here, PPC advertising here. So a 30 days look back period, they are low rankability. So meaning to say they would have lower than 5% conversion rate. So I'll just give a generic number here. I would name anything that is lower than 5% conversion rate as something that is not rankable. And it should have some ad spend as well. So some kind of statistics here to show that it is to have some kind of data here to look at. So it should have more than $10 spending here. So what I will do here is that I'll give a break-even bid to it. I'll give it a 20% target A cost, and this should be adjusted down very fast, right? Okay, so this is for the 30 days look back period. So another tier that I'm looking at is the sandwich traffic. So something that is between the rankable keywords and something that is non-rankable keywords. This is why I call it sandwich traffic. Something the performance neither here nor there, right? So what we want to do is to give it some more traffic to evaluate the performance, to see if they shift to the rankable traffic keyword or the non-rankable keywords, right? There's some orders, some clicks, but there's still not enough data to see whether which tier they are moving to. So I will drive more traffic. I'll give them a target A cost that is less than the aggressive target A cost of 40%. But I will still bid more than the break-even A cost here. So it's somewhere in between that I'll be bidding at.
Okay, very interesting. Yes,
Yeah.
I think we
And
have. No, this is
for
all. No, one more.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, we have one more tier here that's something I will look at in the 30 days look back period here. Is keyword with decent clicks but zero sales, right? They have clicks here, but they have zero sales. And as the clicks increases, I know that the chances of them getting sales gets lower and lower. So I'll reduce the bids as the number of clicks increases here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yes,
these are the
very
4 tiers that I look at when I'm evaluating like a 30 days look back period.
got it. Okay. So we have in total 3 type of look back period, like the long term 90 days, the mid term 30 days, and then the short term it's 7 days, right?
7 days. 7
Okay.
days will be about a week that we are looking at. To cater
Okay.
for those kind of short-term performance that I have illustrated in the scenario where you have a month and suddenly it went up, boom, or it went down, a decline. So the 7 days would really be catering for those kind of scenarios.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Let's go looking at the strategies for the short term performance.
Sure, sure. 7 days will pretty much be like the tiers that for 7 days is pretty much also like the 30 days. We have a rapid search, right? So those keywords that suddenly it might be due to seasonality, it might be due to competitors go out of stock that suddenly perform great and they have such a good conversion rate during this short-term performance that we want to maximize it, that we want to quickly beat up for it. So same goes for it. I'll go for very aggressive target A cost as well. I'll go for a 40% target A cost. So those keywords, the criteria is also the same. Anything that is more than 20%, I'll deem it as something that's rankable. And with some kind of data here to show for it, I'll give it like a 10 orders here, more than 10 orders. It shows that it's a good sample size here. So yeah, so I would make fast bid adjustment here and I would want to really boost those keywords that has suddenly performed so great. And I also want to cater for those keywords. For example, maybe your competitors drop price and suddenly, or maybe the ratings drop, right? And your listing or your this performance suddenly drop. And we want to cater for that as well. So I'll call it Arab slum here. And we want to cater for them. So those are the keywords that has sudden drop in their conversion rate here. And there's many clicks here to show that a good sample size here. So I will give anything that is lower than 5% conversion rate and more than 100 clicks here. Once you have this kind of data here for those keywords, I will adjust bid very fast to protect my profits here, essentially. Yeah, I would want to drop bids for all these keywords that has a sudden drop in their performance. And I have one more performance here for such a short time frame. One thing that I want to cut is that I want to cut also the unoptimizable traffic. What do I mean by that? Is those traffic that is already at the minimum bid for SB, sponsored brand videos. If it's something that is like bidding at 25 cents for sponsored brand headline ads, if something that is bidding at 10 cents, I know such a bid is already at the lowest, but at the same time, their A cost is still not great, right? Their A cost is still higher than the break-even margin, maybe at 40%, 50%. I know that's I couldn't make any more optimization to it to such a keywords, right? Because it is already at the lowest bid here. So what I would do here, I would straight away pause those keywords for those keywords here, right? And also I would want to have some kind of sample size for those keywords, so some kind of data here, maybe something that's like more than 20 clicks in order for me to make a decision here that, okay, this is something that I have to cut away.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so you're giving obviously lots of like great benchmarks and numbers, like in terms of the ACOS level, the conversion percentage, the number of clicks, and so on.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
might be
But I
might
would
be
like to
difficult.
highlight again is I would like to give a disclaimer. All these are just some kind of levels that are giving because for every product they might perform very differently. Like for something that is selling for 100 bucks, the conversion rate, a good conversion rate might be very different here, right? Because selling at 100 bucks is a pretty high price product and the conversion rate might not be performing that well. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. True. So, guys, remember that you need to base your conversion that you see here, you will see in the slide, based on your category, obviously. So that's good advice. And remember that you can download the slides on our website, thesellerprocess.com, or you'll find the link in the YouTube description, because obviously Leslie said lots of interesting benchmarks that you want to look at, and you can do it through by downloading the slides. Yeah. So then what else do we actually, before we go ahead, I wanted to ask you, are we supposed to run all these strategies on a periodical basis, like every week or twice a week, whatever? Or is it meant to just in response of drop in performance or a change in performance to a product?
Yeah. So when we are doing this manually, so ideally we should download this like every day. I not every day you go to this place where you download the search term report and look at the last 30 days, last 7 days to download this report here daily.
Mhm.
It should be a daily affair. I would suggest it to be daily. But I know many entrepreneurs, they are busy, right? If you couldn't do it like daily, you could do it like once every 3 weeks or once every 5 days. But if you do it like once every week, I think it's very hard to pick up such a quick change in performance sometimes. And there's also one scenario that I would like to talk about as well. That is the ideal scenario here. You will have those keywords, right? That is very ideal, right? It's more than 20% conversion rate. You know that it's ranking well and it has a good amount of data here. It has a good sample size of data. For example, you have 50 orders already. It has proven these keywords has proven themselves like very consistently and it's of an acceptable A cost here. For example, 30% to 40% A cost. So we also adopt some kind of strategy for it. right? That is not to do anything for it, because it's something that is performing well, right? Some people might feel like I could further optimize it, I could make it better, right? 30, 40% A cost, I could tweak it and maybe make it like 20% A cost. But I would say if it's performing that well for you, right, you might not want to tweak it because when you're rocking a boat too hard that is sailing very fast, right, it tends to be very dangerous. It might just change the performance. So what's best for this type of keywords that is very ideal for you, don't rock the boat too hard in this campaign, but you could actually bring it to another campaign or replicate that in another campaign so that you can actually scale it up. So that's what a lot of people is doing as well. Those extra campaign is what people call the single keyword campaigns. What we call abbreviation in Skill Insights, we always call it like SKC, the SKC campaign. So people will actually scale up all these very ideal keywords to a single keyword campaign here.
Interesting. Yeah, definitely. I second that advice of doing nothing when a campaign is performing well, because, yeah, in adjustments in terms of bid might change the placement of the ad that has been working so well and up until that point. And if you lower your bid, for example, and the algorithm is going to show the ad on another position because of that change, then the performance of that campaign might suffer, and you intended to do well, but you eventually maybe ruin that campaign. So that's definitely a great advice, and it's good that you're covering the ideal state, because in that case the strategy is doing nothing, which is, it's something that people need to know, like doing nothing on this, in this specific case. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
but it's doing nothing in that particular existing campaign. However, if you want to do something for such a good keywords, right, you could actually always do it in a new campaign, right? Like the SKC campaign, you could replicate that to another campaign here. And in the SKC campaign, where it's only one keyword, one ad group, one in one campaign, you could have a better control of the budget to it. And there's a lot more things that you can control. You could control the placement as well, which is very important for ranking for certain keywords, because you would want those keywords appear more in certain placements rather than going to non-optimum placements, which if there's time, I can talk more about it. Yeah.
Yeah, just share what's your one last advice or something like you think it's valuable we should know, because I know that the slides and your presentation was very long, with filled with lots of content and great information. Is there anything else that you want to add? Yeah, feel free now.
Yeah. Then I'll touch more about this ideal placement for ranking keywords, right? Talking more about skill is single keyword campaign here. For single keyword campaign, typically we like to go for the TOS placement, the top of search placement for ranking keywords. So why is it? Because TOS, typically there's a better conversion rate. TOS is as compared to ROS and placement page, right? There's a much better conversion rate, yes, much better click-through rate, and all these are known factors for driving organic ranking here. And how do we actually focus our budget onto top of search here? One quick way is that we could cut the bids for the keywords by half, right? Let's say we're cutting it by half, and we increase it the TOS by 100%. So there's a screenshot in my slides here that you could actually take a look. I've provided a case study here, and you could see the CPC, literally, if we cut it, the bids by half, the CPC would actually half for product page and the ROS. And if we increase the TOS by 100%, the CPC would still remain. So in this way, we are spending away from the product pages and the rest of search, but still keeping the budget for the TOS here. And are we able to do this for all types of SKC? The answer is actually no. There are criteria to meet before we tweak the TOS for such a SKC campaign here. So what are the criteria that we want to see here? For a very seasoned PPC manager, they might have many PPC single keyword campaigns here. They might have 50 single keywords campaign. They might have 100 single keywords campaigns. So out of these single keywords campaign, we want to really select those good single keyword campaign and tweak and to identify them and to tweak their TOS to further bump up the ranking here. So I will give anything that has more than 12% conversion rate as A cost is better than the campaign at A cost. And also the third criteria is a TOS A cost of at least 50% before you choose to increase the TOS by 100% here.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. This is another framework on how to use and when to use the placement modifiers. This is a very cool hack because most of the time people might not want to spend as much in product placement or rest of search.
Yeah.
And this is a quick hack. Just slash your bid by half and double your placement bid adjustment for top of search, which
Yeah.
will give you
E-
most of the impressions in top of
Especially
search.
for SKC campaigns, right? Because the purpose of SKC campaigns is to really rank the keywords, is to boost the ranking for all those ideal keywords, right? We really want to focus our budget on the TOS and not on the product placement, because product placement obviously is not great for ranking keywords here. And yeah, so there might be a lot of things to work on or do here, but this is what Skill Insights is for here. You could, all this framework here is all preloaded into Skill Insights, and the Skill Insights robot would actually do the heavy lifting for you. For example, if you are doing the knife framework here, it's tough to look at it every day and download the 3 search term reports, 7 days, 30 days, and 90 days. And this is where automation would be a great help here. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Obviously, what you mentioned, it can be a lot of work for lots of people, and if unless you have a PPC manager, or even if you have a PPC manager, you want to give him some help. Tell people like how can you help, what is Scale Insights, and how can they find you in case they would like to learn more about Scale Insights.
Yeah, so Skill Insights is rule-based automation software here for PPC. So a lot of people have been using our tools here, and in the deck you will see many examples, screenshots of people who has been using it and giving us raving reviews for really like increasing their productivity. Some people say that it's really like having a someone of a VA to really look at the PPC day in, day out here. But I would say it's much better than that because that's constrained to human computation, right? For example, if we were to calculate the target A cost new bid for each and every single keywords, I don't know about you, man, but I would go crazy if it's like a human. If I were the one doing it, right? Imagine you are holding a calculator and doing it every single day. So it's going to be tough without automation here. And especially I think it's fine. I started selling on Amazon in 2016 and I did fine without automation at that point of time. But I think the game here has already, the competition has increased. Everyone is using some kind of tool for their PPC management here. And I would say if a seller is not using one, it's going to be tough because people are using it, and using automation, it really helps a lot in productivity. It really cuts down the manpower. So it really improved the efficiency in business a lot, right? And don't hear my word for it, right? Don't hear my word for it. There's a 30 days free trial here that you can not input your credit card and you can go ahead and try it out on your own. I know Joe Marco have is already using it. So this is really meant for your audience here. And we have some kind of discount for your audience here as well, like a 10% for first purchase, a 10% off of first purchase. So make use of it. Joe Marco, we have known him for quite a while, and seeing him again in the event is really great to connect with him again, like in person in the event. Yeah.
Yes, it was really great. Yeah, thank you very much, Leslie. You shared lots of like very good stuff, and yeah, so thank you a lot to come and share this in this episode. Guys, I again want to remind you that it's really valuable for you to download the slides that Leslie is sharing with us. Go to the sellerprocess.com, find the link, or on the YouTube description. So you will find all this framework that we've been talking about. It's there with lots of examples, and you can save the data as well. And if you want to try Scale Insights, I totally back that up because it's the one that I'm using. And as Leslie said, there is like a 30 days free trial and 10% off once you start. So you'll find the links also in the description of the video or in the in the website as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Leslie.
Yeah. I still have one more strategy to cover if you want to hear from me.
If it's a quick one, yeah, we're running out of time. Yeah, quick one. Give
Okay.
like a
So
golden one.
yeah, so this last one would be like a placement strategy as well, a placement tactic. It will be defending your ASIN using the product page ASIN as well. So I wouldn't touch more on that here. You could actually, like your audience could actually go to the link and download the deck and see there's a case study on screenshots there as well. So I would highlight that as part of the slides so that your audience could take a look. And that is also pretty helpful in defending your product ASIN from competitors advertising there.
Awesome. Okay. You will find that also in the slides, right? Cool.
Yes.
Thank
It's
you.
also
Thank you
linked in the
again.
slide.
Yeah, Leslie. It was really great and packed with value. So
I
I
just
hope
want to come in and give great value here to your audience, and yeah, they would. Then pretty sure they would find good value in it. Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah, lots of people got lots of value from this. And the slides also are packed with tips and demonstration of what you said. So guys, remember the key to success is to emulate the best. So take home Leslie's advice on how to set up the best frameworks for your PPC, looking at different look back period and all the other tips that he just shared with us and hacks. So go download the slides if you want to check out Scale Insights with a free trial. And I hope you got some value from this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a productive day, everyone. Bye. Hey, entrepreneurs, I hope you enjoyed the episode and learned something from the interview. If you're serious about creating systems for your business, automating processes, and building up your team so that you can transfer the tedious daily tasks in order to focus on more high-level strategic tasks and work on your business and not in your business, I've created a guide for Amazon sellers named Capturing Systems and Creating SOPs that you can find at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook, where you will learn how to leverage systems and SOPs in your Amazon business so that you can accomplish more by working less, optimize your time, automate and delegate tasks, and reap the benefits of being a true business owner and not simply an operator in your own business. Go download the ebook at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook and start implementing all the tips and insights that I share with you. And leave us a review or a comment to let us know how the content we are sharing here is making an impact in your business. And have a productive week.